Welcome to the Israel Daily News Podcast. I'm your host, Shanna Fold, and I'm here to get you caught up quickly. I've got some top news stories for you today from Israel, and guess what? You're listening, so you're already on top of your game. Survive and thrive, people. Knowledge is the best weapon. Today is Monday, September 15th, 2025 in the Gregorian calendar and the 22nd of Elul in the Hebrew calendar. This is our second news program in the new residence following the ballistic missile that destroyed my home and studio on June 16th, 2025. We have had lots of news. Now, let's get to the news. Today, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio joined Prime Minister Netanyahu for a press conference in Jerusalem, and news is out that he's making a major pivot in his travel itinerary. Instead of London, he's heading to Qatar on Tuesday. That's tomorrow. That change matters. Doha, the capital of Qatar, has been the key mediator on the 48 hostages, and the White House wants to see movement. Rubio met Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the War Cabinet team, Gideon Sa'ar, Ron Dermer, and National Security Council head Tzachi Hanegbi. Ambassadors Mike Huckabee and Yechiel Leiter were also present for that meeting. The Prime Minister's office says the meeting ran long and statements were released following that. Diplomatically, Rubio's Doha stop is likely an attempt to smooth things over with America's Gulf allies, who are angered by Israel's strike on Hamas leaders in Qatar from last week, which was an unprecedented strike that we discussed in depth in Thursday's episode. In short, Qatar houses Hamas leaders, despite being the main negotiator between Hamas and Israel. Israel took the chance to strike the Hamas leadership in Qatar, despite Qatar is not considered an enemy country. That balancing act will shape hostage talks and the region's next moves. Tonight, Rubio is slated to help inaugurate the Pilgrim's Road at the City of David, a symbolic Jerusalem stop that plays into heritage and politics. I'm a big believer in original texts and try to let you, the listeners of the Israel Daily News, make up your own minds about how to interpret press conferences instead of me cutting tiny little bites up like regular legacy news outlets do because they have a short time. Let's play a long chunk of today's or Monday's press conference. Today is Monday with Netanyahu and Rubio, and you can see for yourself what you think about their remarks.
Mr. Secretary Marco, your visit to our eternal and undivided capital, Jerusalem, is a powerful affirmation of a powerful bond. We stand in a time of immense challenges, the aggression of Iran and its terrorist proxies, those who chant death to America, death to Israel. And they are not chanting it by accident because they see Israel as the front line of American civilization here in the Middle East. Well, those chants and those threats still linger, but they're a lot less dangerous now. And they're a lot less dangerous because they were met with our common resolve. And the decision by President Trump to target the nuclear facilities of Iran was not merely a militarily wise thing to do, it was also a message to the entire world that the United States acts to defend its interests and defend its allies. And America has no better ally than Israel. It's obvious that Israel has no better ally than America. You've been a remarkable partner, and our alliance, I think, has been forged for ages. President Trump says, he said to me the other day, he said, remember October 7th. That's what he said. It's like, remember the Alamo, remember October 7th. And we remember. We remember the savagery, we remember the incredible massacre of the innocents. We remember our hostages, and we're committed to bringing all of them home, the living and the dead. And we appreciate all the help that President Trump and you have given us in this sacred task. We remember Hamas, And we know that we must defeat them and ensure that they no longer are enabled to turn Gaza into a threat to Israel. They no longer should be there. Your presence here in Israel today is a clear message that America stands with Israel. You stand with us in the face of terror, in the face of the incredible, I would almost say, Middle Ages lies that are directed against us, the rising anti-Semitism in the world, and the really the weak governments that are putting pressures on us because they collapse under the pressure of Islamist minorities and incredible vilification. I want to thank you personally for your unwavering support of Israel's right to defend itself, for standing firmly against those who seek to isolate and demonize our nation. And I'd like once again to extend our deepest gratitude to a great friend of Israel, a personal friend of mine, President Donald J. Trump. The President has shown consistent leadership, moral clarity, and bold actions that have strengthened the alliances between our nations as never before. The American-Israeli alliance has never been as strong as it is now. And the President has been an outstanding global leader. He's really transforming the world to better all of us. And I can again repeat what I've said time and time again. He's the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House. We will continue to act together with great force and great determination to protect our countries, and I may add, to protect our common civilization, because we're engaged in a battle of civilization against barbarism. And the alliance between our nations remains as enduring and unshakable as the stones of the Western Wall we visited yesterday. We will forever cherish this friendship. And I want to say, Mr. Secretary, thank you. May God protect you, bless you, and bless your family. May God bless America. May God bless Israel. And may God bless our enduring alliance.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. And first of all, let me say on behalf of the President of the United States, President Trump, I want to thank you for your friendship and for the friendship that Israel has shown towards the United States and so many issues we work on together that extend beyond the causes of war and peace, but advances in technology, advances in economics, and those remain strong and enduring and unwavering, and not enough attention gets paid to those links, the economic links, the cultural links. We're here today, by the way, later this evening to inaugurate and to open to the world perhaps one of the most important archaeological sites in the planet, and one that has deep meaning to so many people in the United States as well, in the Pilgrim's Road over at the City of David. And so it's an honor to be here and be a part of that. As far as the President's been clear on the ongoing issues in Gaza, and that is that every single hostage, both living and deceased, needs to be home immediately. Hamas can no longer continue to exist as an armed element that threatens the peace and security, not just of Israel, but of the world, and that the people of Gaza deserve a better future, one that cannot begin until Hamas is eliminated and until all of the hostages, both living and deceased, are home. And he remains committed firmly to that objective. And that's what we seek to talk about today, have talked about today, and will continue to talk about, and that is the road forward on how to achieve those things. Those objectives remain. Those objectives remain in place. Beyond that, obviously, we cooperated and were involved together just a few weeks ago on the issue of Iran and Iran's desire to possess not just nuclear weapons, but short and mid-range missiles with the capability of threatening our presence here in this hemisphere, in this region, and of course the safety and security of the Jewish state. But I would venture to say a threat that actually extends well beyond that to the kingdoms of the Gulf and eventually even into Europe. In fact, some of the missiles they're trying to develop now can already range countries in Europe. And so a nuclear Iran governed by a radical Shia cleric that possesses not just nuclear weapons potentially, but the missiles that could deliver those weapons far away, is an unacceptable risk, not just for Israel, not just for the United States, but for the world. And that's why the President continues with our campaign of maximum pressure. There will continue to be maximum economic pressure on Iran until they change course. That's why we are encouraged to see our partners in Europe begin the process of snapping back sanctions on Iran. They are clearly out of compliance with what was already a flawed deal to begin with. and we encourage them to continue down that road. We 100% support that. That is exactly what needs to happen. And we remain firmly committed, as I said, to the President's objective, which he's been abundantly clear on, and I want to repeat. At the end of the day, no matter what has happened or happens, the objective remains the same, and that is all 48 of those hostages, both living and deceased, need to be home. They need to be returned. They never should have been taken. What happened on October 7th was an act of unparalleled barbarism, and what's happened since then have been repeated acts of unparalleled barbarism on the part of Hamas. Hamas needs to cease to exist as an armed element that can threaten the peace and security of the region, and the people of Gaza deserve a better future, but that better future cannot begin until Hamas is eliminated. That better future and that kind of peace is not even possible until the hostages are released, all of them, every single one. And so that's what we continue to be focused on. That's what the President wants to see happen, and that's what you can count on our unwavering support and commitment to see come to fruition.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Secretary, do you think that it's possible to military dismantle? Thank you.
Can you just state your name and the outfit you're from?
Yeah, sure. Hi.
Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Israel.
Okay.
My name is Liza Rozovsky. I'm from Haaretz. And I want to ask if you still think that the military dismantlement of Hamas is possible.
Well, Hamas can surrender tonight if they want, lay down their weapons. The problem is they're a terrorist group, a barbaric group, whose stated mission is the destruction of the Jewish state, so we're not counting on that from happening. Look, I think we would all, every single person I know, I don't know of anyone who would not rather see a negotiated settlement in which Hamas agrees to no longer be a terrorist group, lay down their arms, free the hostages, by the way, not just the hostages that they're holding from Israel, but frankly, the people of Gaza that they're also holding hostage as human shields. So that would be the ideal outcome, one we would all like to see. It's one that's been worked on. But I think we have to be prepared for the fact that savage, terrorists don't normally agree to things like that. But we'll continue to pursue that route. It's the ideal outcome, but it may require ultimately a concise military operation to eliminate them. We have to remember who we're dealing with here, and that is a group of people that have dedicated their lives to violence and barbarism. And when you're confronting that hard reality, as much as we may wish that there be a sort of a peaceful diplomatic way to end it, and we'll continue to explore and be dedicated to it, we also have to be prepared for the possibility that that's not going to happen.
The offices of Israel's Minister of Social Equality and Women's Advancement, May Golan, were raided on Monday morning by Israel police. The raid came as part of an investigation into fraud, misuse of public funds, and fictitious employment in her office, all on what is believed to be at the expense of taxpayers. Officers at the Lahav 433 National Crime Unit's fraud squad also raided the offices of an advisor for Golan, where what looks like, in a photo I reviewed in Haaretz newspaper, is a marijuana production lab that was discovered. A lawyer who once advised Golan was apprehended and is awaiting a hearing, which is set for Monday afternoon, so it's probably underway right now. The investigation, ordered by State Attorney Amit Eisman and Attorney General Gali Baharav Miara, was opened in July after the professional practices at that ministry office came under scrutiny. This was all because of a journalistic report by Israel's Channel 12 News back in January. Israeli conductor Lahav Shani had his invitation to perform in Belgium with the Munich Philharmonic rescinded. The organizers of the Flanders festival in Ghent said he had not done enough to distance himself from the Israel-Gaza war and were concerned over why he did not outright slam the Israeli government and, quote, the genocide taking place in Gaza. Shani used to lead the Israel Philharmonic as a young man of 31 and moved to Europe to continue on his career. The decision drew condemnation from German politicians. Germany maintains it feels obligated to support Israel because of its role in the Holocaust, but the position has been growing strain, and European alarm about the conflict is being felt by Europeans across the continent. Many say this is outright anti-Semitism and argue that there's no place for politics in the arts. Shani will now conduct the orchestra in a performance of Beethoven's Concerto for Violin and Orchestra and extracts from Richard Wagner's opera at the Konzerthaus in Germany on Monday. Well, we here at the Israel Daily News wish him luck and success in his musical career. Removing him for being Israeli is just outright anti-Semitism. I want to thank all of you for your interest in Israeli affairs, Israeli politics, our world politics. I also want to thank all of you who personally finance and fund the Israel Daily News podcast with monthly contributions. You can support us by going over to our website, israeldailynews.org, and clicking on donate. The Patreon link is over there, and you can send us a monthly donation using that Patreon link. There's also an option for a one-time donation as well. Our organization is operational thanks to listeners and supporters like you. Thank you to Marianne Vollinger for her monthly support. In response for your contributions, I'll send over a handwritten thank you note to show my appreciation. Follow us on social media at israeldaily.news. We're on X, YouTube, TikTok, and on Instagram. Our page is just about to hit 40,000 followers. You can also follow my personal page at Shanna Fold. My name has 2 N's in it, and I'm very sensitive about that. Tomorrow in Jerusalem, I'll be addressing an audience while I host 2 panels at a Jerusalem Post conference. It's a highly political conference. There will be major figureheads like Ambassador Mike Huckabee from the United States to Israel, Moshe Leon, the mayor of Jerusalem, and others. I'll be hosting 2 panels. I'll share those with you after they are released, and it'll be all videoed, so you'll get to see that as well. The Samaria Regional Council says it will create an official commemoration for Charlie Kirk, the conservative author and media figure who was murdered last week at a University of Utah student conference. Council head Yossi Dagan is coordinating the memorial with Kirk's associates and the Friends of Judea and Samaria in the U.S., which is an organization, with the site and date to be announced in the coming weeks. Dagan calls Kirk a great lover of Israel, who championed young people and pushed back against those who, in his view, used liberal language to erode freedom. Kirk was a vocal supporter of Israeli sovereignty over the West Bank, referring to it as Judea and Samaria, and opposed a Palestinian state, saying Christians have a special duty to respect Jews. Dagan says Kirk's loss will be felt in Israel, the United States, and across the free world, and pledges a commemoration in Samaria that reflects his steadfast support for Israel and the settlement project. Kirk was also honored over in Netanya this past week when the central city renamed a traffic circle after him and painted a mural following his assassination. Archaeologists in the city of David have uncovered a 2,200-year-old pure gold coin depicting Queen Berenice II of Egypt, wife of Ptolemy III. Only 20 such coins are known worldwide, and this is the first ever discovered in a controlled excavation outside Egypt. The coin, likely minted in Alexandria, may have been used to reward soldiers after the Third Syrian War. Its discovery challenges long-held beliefs that Jerusalem was weak and marginal after the First Temple's destruction, instead revealing a city rebuilding ties with major powers of the era. The find offers rare evidence of Berenice's political power, showing her name inscribed as a ruler in her own right. The coin will go on display in early September at the City of David Research Conference, which is happening in Jerusalem. All right. Well, that is it for today's show. Today is Monday, September 15th, 2025. Tel Aviv has a low of 26 degrees Celsius and a high of 29 degrees. That's 75 degrees Fahrenheit, going up to 84 degrees for the high. We are everywhere. Don't forget to sign up to our Israel Weekly News Wrap. The Israel Weekly News Wrap is a newsletter with the top 5 stories coming out of Israel from throughout the week. And of course, with a personal note from me at the top. You can sign up for that at israeldailynews.org. I'll send you off with a song called Tic Tac by Erica Krall. Enjoy this song and have a great and productive day and an excellent week. Shavua Tov, everyone. time.